I need to kill a belief that's costing you money every single December. Now, this belief is if I can't ship it in time, I can't sell it. Well, that's not really the case. And here's the proof. December 15th through the 24th, that's a 10-day window where most businesses see a drop about 60 to 70%, but the customer demand, it doesn't drop. Spending, it doesn't really drop either. And the sales, your sales are the only things that drop. Now, the problem isn't the demand again, it's the offer format. And I have 3 simple solutions we're going to talk to you about and share with you right now. So I'm going to go ahead and bring in and welcome in Mushka with me as we walk through this and we present a few different things. So hi, Mushka.
Hello, hello.
We're pretty excited on what's going on. We put together this presentation. Mushka and I, we work with several businesses. And one of the things she brought up, she said, Nathan, there's this gap in this window that we continue to identify in the month, specifically with where we're at. This could have happened last month a little bit with Black Friday. It's like, hey, do we wait for sales and we get to Black Friday? And now we're in December, right, Mushka? And there's this window. Why don't you tell me a little bit about how and why this came to mind? And then we're going to get into the presentation and talk about the holiday gap bridge and what 3 things you can do to bridge the gap that might exist currently in your business.
Okay, so we were with a client and we were talking about strategies for the month of December and January. And then we started discussing that there is this gap between the second and the third week of December where they're not doing like free shipping or, they might not be able to ship just before Christmas. And they were just thinking that, the sales would be dead in that particular time period. And we discussed it and the sales were not dead and we came up with different strategies and we're still working towards things. And I was like, Nathan, we need to make a video about it because I think that it's not just this particular company. There might be so many other brands and people and companies and founders thinking the same thing, that sales are dead in this particular time period, which is actually not true. And how about we break it down and give people some strategies for this holiday season as
Now
a little
with,
gift from Thriveworks 360
there you go.
to all
Thank
the
you.
entrepreneurs out there.
Wonderful. And to your point, you're right. And a lot of everybody, we're hustling because it's the dollar today and it is the dollar before you feel like last shipping day. I know we've had that conversation with ourselves. If you're in the business of services, the same thing might happen. You might think about people slow down because they stop because of holidays. Those things are all truths, but it doesn't mean that you need to decide to participate in what that is. And again, that's what we're going to talk about are 3 key things that you can do in your business to help bridge that gap. And really that gap can be as big or as small as your business might have that. Again, businesses that are services, if you've got digital goods, you might have a little bit of a smaller gap because it's easier to deliver. If you're physical goods like e-commerce stores, et cetera, that window can vary. That can be before Christmas. That can also be post-Christmas. And a lot of this leads into how do we maximize and close out our year, Mushka? And again, then all that kind of leads into what is next year. But we're going to talk about the gap in December, what we do, what that time frame looks like. And I'm going to bring up the slideshows that we can talk through and have the conversation on this. So it's going to be pretty exciting.
While Nathan is bringing the slideshow up, just think about it as hidden gems. We did it for Black Friday. We are doing it for Christmas season, and you never know. So stay tuned. We might be doing it for the coming months as well.
There you go. And we're really just going to go through this pretty quick. We don't want this to be a long, drawn out thing, although Mushka and I like to talk. We love to hear ourselves.
We love to talk.
We love to talk. Okay. But here we go. Really, the simple thing, the holiday bridge gap, right? The complete strategy for helping convert what we're going to call late December traffic into revenue, even after potentially there are shipping or timelines, or you might think that customers stop buying. And then there's that cutoff. So here's the thing. The cutoff does not stop itself. Most brands, they assume that the demand died, but here's what actually happens. The customers didn't disappear. Your actually ability to fulfill it did. And that's why we want to look at things a little bit different. The complete, again, it's a completely different problem. And there's actually 3 surprising solutions. So again, didn't stop. And what we want to do is talk about how we can help avoid that with a couple of key things. Mushka, why don't you talk about what those problems might be here?
So I think one of the problems, especially this is for product-based or e-commerce-based people, is that once they hit that deadline where they cannot do shipping before Christmas, they think that they can't sell anything anymore, and there's a dead period between that time of the year and the New Year's, where they think that all the sale is done, everybody else has bought for Christmas, and there is no sales that are going to happen moving forward for this time.
Yep, and there we go. That's kind of what we think. Hey, maybe the money's lost. We're not going to be able to get it right. Shipping's another reason potentially. So here's the framework. We're going to look at the holiday gap bridge is what we're calling it. 3 provided strategies or ways to kind of look at overcoming this to carry revenue from what you might consider the time that people stop buying into the new year. Okay. And we're going to do one extra bonus. So stay with this. There's a bonus technique that we're going to talk about here at the end to help just increase overall value per sale that you would have. And so this is a framework that you can use to generate hundreds, if not thousands, if not hundreds of thousands, and depending on the size of your business, potentially millions of dollars in late December across a lot of different businesses that are out there. So we're going to talk a little bit more about this, and this is real, right? This is something that we all potentially live in if we're out there as entrepreneurs, Mushka, like you talked about. Our goal is really servicing our clients. We have amazing employees that are helping us, and at the end, we hope that all trickles down to another dollar in our bank account. Black Friday was big. We know that December is almost as big for a lot of customers and clients. And so the goal is to help us close the gap on revenue that we can continue to keep it strong. So this pattern, really quickly, we normally find that in December that there kind of is this stopping point. A lot of times there's panic. And then what we end up doing is we just kind of let's decide about what's going on in January. So the businesses that implement these strategies can help capture some additional revenue, and they can let their competitors sit on the sideline and take advantage of that. So this is what I want you to take a look at as we dive into this. And this is the story I want you to take a look at and tell yourself, right? Black Friday success. This is what we know: strong revenue, solid conversions. In fact, fourth quarter, most people focus here and then know they're going to have some trailing off success. We ended up with Cyber Monday. That was here just this most recent week. Mushka, the groups we've worked with, we really help try to strategize both of these key elements because this year, Cyber Monday moved into the beginning part of December. We also have an early December push, which is what we're in right now. And then here's the key thing, right? Then nothing. The sales drop potentially 60 to 70% overnight. And we're assuming it's because the customers are not buying. We assume it's because the customers are busy doing family things. Again, trust me, all of those things weigh in, but you can help overcome those and not just sit in that and believe that that's the case. So here's the truth. Guess what, Mushka? When that 60 to 70% hits, your customers are still buying. It's just not from you, because guess what? You didn't have a way to come up with a solution that bridged the gap. So while you're assuming that their buying has stopped, your customers are getting them to fill and buy from them. So they still have the budget your customers do. They still have people, and there's these individuals that still want to buy. They're just not trusting that you have the availability on your products currently, or that they can arrive in time. And Mushka, I know you've seen a couple different ads that have tried to address this, right? With late shipping or express shipping, but we're going to not talk about shipping. Actually, we're going to talk about a complete new way to look at this. Any thoughts on that?
Yeah, because I feel that if you're trying to work through the shipping, that's in itself a bigger process. And at ThriveWorks 360, we always talk about what can you do and how can you gain success with the people, processes, products, and tools you already have. So we are going to focus on things that you already have, so you do not have to bring in another system for expedited shipping. Whatever you already have, and how can you make money out of that?
I love that. And here's the example. And we know this is all true, right? In fact, I just received a gift card yesterday from an individual, which means they didn't have to deliver good because it came digitally, or you can get that in a card that you're passing along. But where's the money going? Potentially gift cards, right? Yeah. You're potentially looking at subscriptions. If you think about that, experience gifts. I know I was granted something last year, which was a gift to the spa. If you think about these types of items,
I would love if somebody would gift me like a year's worth of Netflix or Amazon Prime or anything of that subscription.
Yeah.
I'd be like,
any of
yes,
those.
please.
Now, here's the thing. You might say, well, I don't have something like this. That's going to be your excuse. Well, I don't have something. I'm not in this place where I have something that works the same way. I'm going to challenge you to step back and ask yourself a different set of questions, because the question isn't do you or do you not? The question is how do you address this gap differently this year than you might have done last year? Okay. So again, the winners on this and who are getting the money are those people. They're buying from anyone who's removed the friction, and they've given them the confidence of where and how they can buy, to your point, Mushka. And so here's the key thing. And why don't you go ahead and kind of share these thoughts with us really quick?
So the problem is that people think that the customers or the consumers have either stopped buying or they cannot facilitate the buying. But bursting the first myth, the people are still buying, and bursting the second myth, they can still buy from you. Let's figure out what are the 3 ways where you can facilitate the people who are still buying and how they can buy from you.
I love that. If you think about the bottom line here, the fix isn't to push harder, it's to switch the format. So it's to think differently about how and what we're doing. So switch the format to keep the revenue. Businesses that keep selling through these dates, in December, it's not that they have necessarily better products or better audiences. It's that they've switched to offers that aren't depending on some of those key things that normally turn off revenue, right? That's the game. And it's actually a simply shockingly simple piece that we can take a look at with 3 of those. And here's what they are. And Mushka, why don't you go ahead and kind of clear those 3 different things that we're going to take a look at here?
So, okay, the first thing that we're talking about is in bridge one, that's instant delivery. So, something that's like a digital product or a digital delivery, something that like a gift card. That could be like the first thing. The second thing could be that you can buy online. So, you're giving the money to us right now, and then you can go to the store and pick up so that, the delivery time is not messed up. And the third one is that you can buy something right now, and the delivery or the receiving of that particular item could be later in the year or in January or throughout the year, like a subscription or something that's like also like okay. Let me say it again and say it properly this time. A subscription, but also it could be like, those gift boxes that you get every season. You can gift someone that for like the Fab and Fit gift box or, some other beauty or spa kind of gift box where they can have this for the rest of the year. For me, please gift me a microneedling a subscription for the next 6 months. I'd love that. So, something along those lines. There's so many things that you can do.
Yeah. So we'll take a look at that and dig into them. Again, one of the last things we're going to talk about here is the plus multiplier is going to be a technique that is a way of looking at kind of incentivizing somebody as a reward for that gift giver. And so it takes what you're already doing and makes them actually more effective as well. So let's take a look here at one of the first bridges that we're going to be covering, which is part of the instant one. Here we go. There we are. And again, why do these things work? Maybe let's just cover why this is going to work, Mushka. One is that there's potentially some uncertainty about delivery on getting things currently if there is this random window. So customers might not trust, and what they're going to go to is places they trust. Obviously, the goal is to remove friction. So we want to remove any doubt that anybody has as in part of that buying process. And at the end of the day, we really want to make sure that there's no hesitation, right? We don't want people to decide in the middle of that process that they're wanting to jump out. That happens at this time because people are looking and they start to feel pressured. And obviously that kills part of the conversion. So when you remove the shipping friction, when delivery is local, and it's instant of the goods, and or you're scheduling and giving them reasons to understand the value of taking advantage of this later, you're not fighting, in essence, the clock anymore, and you're working within the season that they currently have. Here's an interesting example, and this image does not help portray this, but I just want you to think about this image. There's a lot of entrances on this: windows, top balconies, doors, and etc. So this is the burning building analogy. If your store is on fire and you couldn't, and you wouldn't keep trying to sell through the front door if the front was on fire, you would try to find another entrance or an exit to go in or out of. And so you'd open the side door, the back door, the window. You do everything that you had to find a way, if the building was on fire, to be in and out of that in a safe manner. So this is what is going to be one of those big differences, Mushka, is if the building is on fire, how are you getting out? You're going to find a solution. And at the end of the day, what I'm wanting you to do is to think about how you can find a solution to bridging this gap as well. So this is where the 3 bridges are. If you think about it, they're just different doors to the same set of revenue, but it's all of this without looking at the frictions that normally come in front of it.
Yeah.
So number 1, why don't you go ahead and talk about number 1?
Oh, number 1 is like whatever can you buy or get delivered instantly. So digital products, gift cards, anything that does not have to be physically or tangibly there. You can buy it and you can get it right before. You can actually get it on the day you buy it. So that's like the instant receiving of whatever you're buying for yourself or for someone else.
With that, Mushka, if you think about this in general, a lot of people think, well, I've got an e-commerce or physical product. Did you know you can easily go in and just add a gift card app to your store and sell gift cards as part of that process? If you're selling services, this is the same thing. There's never been a better time to sell somebody on something that they might use in the future. I don't know what the statistics are, so I'm not going to get into this one in a heavy way. But one of the best things to sell somebody is a gift card. Unfortunately, they don't always get redeemed. And so there's a little bit more money to be made on that than you would like to know. And that's the case. Now, if you have a digital good or a service right now, what's also happening in order to incentivize the same piece is year-end specials, year-end savings, year-end discounts moving into next year. And then they're using those and they're finding that they're putting time frames on those that have to do with the end of the year instead of just waiting to try to close that now. And so you can create urgency many, many different ways when it comes to the delivery of digital goods.
Okay, there's one extra bit here.
Uh-huh.
Maybe you can sell a gift card where we can say if you buy this for like 50, if you buy this $50 gift card, you will get $10 to a code for $10 where you can use that to buy something for yourself.
There you go. And we'll talk about that as number 4, Mushka.
Oh,
That's the bonus there.
oopsie doopsie.
But coming back to it, the other thing too is don't hold on to this and just do it. Get a gift card, spin this. How do you spin this? Because it doesn't need to be just a gift card, right? And part of this, if you look at this on the slide, we talk about instant. You can get this now instantly instead of just a gift card. And so there's just different ways of taking a look at how you might also label something like this that could bring more value to it as well. I'm not the best of copywriter, so I don't have a lot of great thoughts on that. But here's just, again, some of those things we already talked about. Gift cards for services and gift cards for purchasing products, digital courses or workshops. I know that when you've facilitated and you've done education or you've provided insights to others, you might go back into your archive and know that you can dig out some of those other things and package them up different. Printable sheets and gift cards. We also know that there's digital gift cards as well. Templates, bundles, VIP access. We're working with one of our providers that's a manufacturer here in the US, and their products sell for very, very high dollars. We're talking between $20,000 to $40,000. And one of the things that they're doing to introduce, which they've done this month as well, is a unique access for things next year. So they're also just getting people involved. If you get something today or you get something this month, you'll have this access in the future, which I think is a really, really great idea. Yeah, you can lightly brainstorm what those things might be and then continue to plan, because you don't have to have all that created today. You can create that as you move into that month to month. So that's a great one, VIP access. And then the other good one here is being able to kind of reserve part of a date or a time. And part of that now thing is even if it's a gift card, it can be used in the future. You can use that in the future, or others can use that in the future also. Here's one of the other interesting things about this, Mushka. Why don't you kind of share your thoughts on this?
The instant magic.
Yeah, again, just the fact that this is instantaneous, right?
Yeah, I'm just laughing because it said Shoppers, and Shoppers Drug Mart came to my mind, and I was just thinking that they also have a reward program, and I just started thinking about it. Anyhow, so okay, this is holiday season. Everybody's buying, everybody's wanting something new, even if they don't need it. So the ideal thing is to buy something and get that particular thing during this season, or as I said, before Christmas. So the instant magic talks about you buying something digital, getting it right then and there, be it a gift card, be it subscription of something, or be it a digital product. So if you get it right now, it's magical because it's holiday season, everybody's wanting something. And if you want to defer it, that's on you as well, that's fine as well. But the ideal situation, or the first priority, would be to get it instantly.
I love that. Again, going back to the instant statement, that helps overcome when or how, or do I have to go get it?
Yeah.
The fact is instant, that just helps come immediately. Part of the challenge that potentially is in this window of, I don't know if somebody's going to get it until after the time. This is bridge number 2. This is a simple one. This, again, won't work for everybody, but it's still something that I want you to consider, because there is this other option potentially of like buy online and pick up in store, and or buy online and get access to something else that they might be able to dive into now. And so this is another one that if you're maybe not a big retailer or you're wanting to compete against them, is there any way to bring people back into your place now? Because if they want to buy and pick up now, I know my wife has done this recently, Mushka, with a dress as an example, and she wanted to buy one and she knew there was a local group and she was able to find that it was in store. And so she wanted to go down and get it because she didn't want to have it shipped and she couldn't find it anywhere else. And so this might be another unique place is, hey, if there is a place, go ahead.
And there's this thing when I say buy online and pick in store. So people would think that they can just go to the store and buy it. Why we are talking about buying online? Number one, things run out of stock. It's the holiday season. Number two, if you and right, that was something from the consumer's perspective. But if you are the seller, or if you're the entrepreneur who's selling these things, you'd rather want to get that money in your bank right now than like by the end of the day or by tomorrow or by Thursday, right? Get it right now. So when they buy online, you instantly get the money, and then they can, pick the stuff from the store according to their convenience, maybe by the end of the week, or while they're out doing their errands or something. So it's a win-win situation for both parties.
I like that. The other thing I think about is just the simple thought that there's ways of adding a little bit of a spin to this. Like, let's say you're in an area that has cold climate, and this
Yeah.
goes back to COVID days. So this goes back several, a few years back, but you weren't able to go in. And so you might offer a few different things, like think about like at the pickup window or the
Mm.
curbside. Some of those you might be able to eliminate additional frictions that people might have if they're not excited about going out. This is why a lot of people, you're going to go, I'm thinking like, what is it, Uber Eats or all these
Mm.
Door Dashes and these companies, you might be able to have them pick these goods up in your store and do the same type of delivery as instant delivery. Because today there's a lot of other services that also allow you to take what's in your store and put them on the doorsteps of others in order to compete against a lot of these other companies out there that you might say, I can't compete against them, or I don't know how to compete against them.
And,
So,
and also, if you're doing a sale online or you're giving people out a code, they can still use that code. They can still use that discount and just buy it, just get the stuff on from the
yep.
window or the curbside.
I love it. Just again, to kind of reiterate this, ready in 2 hours. And this is a way, if you think about it, like bundling, one of the best
Yeah.
ways to sell is to bundle things together, create a curated set of items that's easy to prep and easy to grab, highlight speed and convenience, because those are two of the key things that people are obviously going to want with this time. So speed, convenience, bundling things also makes that feel like a unique gift, Mushka. Because if you
Yeah.
go to your store and you're like, hey, I can bundle these three things together, even if people are coming in, this is just an in-person or an online piece. Is what can you bundle that you haven't been before done, that looks new, that looks fresh? And obviously there's a couple other things you can do to create urgency around it as well.
Right.
This is a great way to sell gift cards also, Mushka. We talked about the first one is, hey,
Yeah.
do you like this? Is this a bundle that you would love to have? And would you love your husband, your wife, your friend, your family member to be able to get this? Buy the gift card. And if you think about it, they could take a picture of that bundle and say, hey, I wanted and thought about something like this for you, but this gift card can let you shop for this and so much more. And so there's ways of being able to add a little bit of flair to those as well. Crystal clear pickup. This is if there is a need or time so that people know I can come and access at a particular thing.
Yeah.
And also there might be incentives that you can use, pickup only, get particular additional things, something free or discounts on. And we'll talk about this as a bonus. There might be a little something else in it for the person as well that can help them. And we'll talk about that convenience bonus here in just a minute. Anything else on this, Mushka?
No, I think we're good.
Okay, great. So local pickup again, the walk in for pickup, clean, organized, ready to go, fast experience, professional handoff.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, we want to be able to help them find a way to, if you can, give them a reason to connect with you in doing something different than what they might find with a competitor. That's really one of the last things. So here's the third bridge. One of our last bridges here is buy now and enjoy later. This is one of the best ways to do this. In fact, Mushka, I know that you went to a trip out to
Montreal.
Montreal with your brother.
Yeah. Yeah.
And you kind of got to do that in advance. You got to plan a few things out. I just think about the cruise industry. I think about traveling. That's a future sold industry. Think about that. That's all future driven.
That's so true.
That is not a today I'm going. That is I will be going and I'm going to purchase today what I am going to be doing tomorrow. So I want you to think about this future bridge in that same sense is buy now, enjoy later, selling anticipation, not urgency. So now we're not selling on get it now. We're saying if you get it now, you will be able to enjoy it later or take advantage of this later.
Yeah, and I'm just thinking how exciting is anticipation. For me, anticipation is always way more exciting than, that instant gratification.
I love
And
that.
there are so many things, like there are subscriptions, there are like classes, there are also these packages that you can buy right now or give passes for a certain like event. You can buy right now and then they can enjoy that in the future.
Yeah, and I love this one. This is one of the big bridges that moves you past
Yeah.
actually Christmas and gets you into next year onto whatever that desired is. You're not competing with shipping, you're not competing with available stock, you're not competing with a lot of things. So you're
Yeah.
selling on the psychology, right, of what will be the possibility, to your point, the anticipation, and I really really love that. There's nothing better, and again, that was the same thing. I was gifted this gift card. I didn't know when I was going to use it. but the fact that it was something that I would be using in the future gave me the excitement that I'm looking forward to being able to use that, right?
Yes.
All right. So we're going to break this down here really quick. Again, the future bridge, January jump starts. Might be something that you might have. Hey, we're going to get started in January. Service-based businesses can take a look at this, tap into the new year goals, settings, energies, fitnesses, coaching courses, productivity tools. New year refresh bundles are things that you could be selling now as well. Products that ship after the holiday, clear expectations with less stress. It's perfect for if you think of self-care, organization, or wellness. And then Mushka, one of the let's just keep on going. So reserve now for something happening in January. So if you get this now, it'll ship. Oh, what I was going to say is a couple of our customers, a lot of the clients that we have with a few of these customers, they're worried about everybody else right now, like their moms, their grandmas, their
Yeah.
sisters. You can say brothers and uncles, but they're worried about taking care of the current holiday time, and so they don't want to think about the concerns of what they're trying to do for themselves. So something like this is a very big driver because they know they will get back to themselves in January and in February. So this is a great way to let them think about what that might be or who they might have in their life that they would want to do something. So again, building trust. The other thing, a lot will kind of treat yourself in January. Self gifting is another great one, and we'll talk about
That
that as
is
part of the
that
bonus today.
I
But
love self-gifting. You know that. Last year I gave myself a basket of things that I'd want other people to gift me. So I gifted it to myself. So I love that particular idea.
and I love this as part of this bridge. Get something for yourself. And by the way, we're going to
Yes.
talk about this as the bonus because this one fits heavily into the bonus item. But some are ready to reward themselves. It's been long. It's been hard. I got my bonus this year, and
Yeah.
December is a big bonus month. And
Yeah.
so again, these people are going to be looking at spending those. So don't miss out and think you're late. So you're not selling late. The key
You're
thing is you're
selling.
selling next. So you're
Yes.
selling next. Okay. And this changes the way we look about things and the way we can present our offers. Late implies desperation. Next implies, to your point, Mushka,
Anticipation.
anticipation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
So
love
here's
anticipation.
here's one of the bonuses. Okay, this is the multiplier buyer bonus, the part that pretty much we all are going to forget, and you'll think, oh, I've seen this recently. Oh, I know how that's happened, and it's really interesting. So most businesses, they're going to be pitching like the gift card, right? Buy the gift card, and you think that's yeah, okay, that's fine, or buy the service, buy whatever. And what they're doing though is they're not rewarding the buyer when they do this, and so there's this interesting thing we can start to take a look at is how can we psychologically start to shift the value of having them spend? Because when you're spending, you're gifting for others, and you can say, I'm happy to be able to provide this gift to somebody else. But this is what this can look like. And this happens all the time. I've done this with food in chain restaurants, by the way. Buy a gift for somebody else, get this for yourself.
I love that. I'd be so motivated to buy anything that's giving me something back.
My mind says if you're an entrepreneur, you know you're already looking at this
Yeah.
because you're thinking about if I'm spending gifts for somebody else, is there anything that's going to give me more rewards? Normally,
And
you're
and
like, hey, I'm getting it on my credit card. Go ahead.
and then there is like another fold to it as well. So if I know that uh I got something for Nathan for $50 and like let's say a gift card and I'm getting $10 for myself, I might buy something for like $20 or $30 for myself because I'd be like, oh, it's the $10 are off. So it's like a double sale going on in
Love that.
that moment.
A way to get something for yourself that you can use and respend. And again, there are caveats you can put into here, but I just like this. So stop the feeling like they're spending and give them the feeling that they're buying smart because they're not only buying
Yeah.
for others, they're buying for themselves. So the bonus don't have to be cash. It can be store credit, restricted things you can put on those bonuses, low cost add-ons, upgrade costs, and several other ways of taking a look at that. So I just wanted to share that. So the key thing here is to reframe part of the way that we're maybe even upselling, right? So before it was, hey, add this product to your order, and that feels like you need to spend more versus add this as a gift. And this is another way too on just even how we put the words
Yeah.
in front of people or how you're putting your ads out there would be another one. Like right now, buy this, save this, which is add this product to your order. Or did you know anyone who would love this gift? If you think about that, just buying versus gifting is very different
Yes.
in the term, right? So this is
Yes.
another one of those interesting things you can take a look at. This is the extra special add-on that helps you complete the gift. You can do this for yourself. You can do this for others as well. There we go. So let's take a look at this. And this is just kind of the window that I'm wanting you to take a look at. So where I learned this, as we've kind of done through this in the past, Mushka, We've had this where we've had the window, we've had clients who've had the windows, and we thought about like, here, we did the 12 days. Here's the campaign. It's a great concept. We're going to do this. We're going to feature all this. But what ends up happening is we started it too early. This year, for example, starting 12 days on the 1st of December means you're done selling on the 12th of December. And you
Right.
have to fill the gap between the 12th now and the 25th. So if you're already running something like that, great. But just know that that's one of the things. So if I were to redo this and if I were to start again, we could say, hey, we probably could push this a little bit later. And we're already in the middle of December. So, hey, that's a good question. Really, you're going to be looking at filling the gap. So the gap is really going to be the three things that we've looked at bringing together so that we can do and solve this issue. That's a pretty interesting bridge today I made. That's a different one with some weird lights underneath it. And it
Because
looks
it's
like a kind of
holiday
messy camera.
season.
Holiday season. There you go. But business without the bridge. Sales cliff, right? Shipping cutoffs, panic and scrambles, revenue. That seems like it stops until January. A loss of momentum.
Yeah.
And what ends up happening when we decide to use one of these three bridges or just ask ourselves a different set of questions? How can I, what might I do different, and how and why might I do that different in order to connect with my ideal clients so that they don't choose to go to a competitor? We end up with a smooth transition past normally when that cutoff happens. We end up having more consistent revenue through the entire month. We also end up with a stronger close to the year. And this also leads us into January with a lot more momentum. So the businesses who plan for this don't have the same type of cliff that others that do not. And they transition and they finish the year off with a lot more momentum than those who do not consider these types of things. So here's something to look at. And Mushka, why don't you walk us through these a couple items that we're going to let you take away that you can maybe decide how you want to put this into place.
I guess these are very good cards that we need. These are very good cards for the communication that you need to put out there for like for the time period where you think that you can't sell but you can actually sell. So the first thing is the announcement. You need to put the word out there that this is the last day for shipping, and so that there is no confusion and the trust that your consumers or your audience have in you is not deteriorating because you're not talking about your cutoff date. The second thing is, while you talk about the shipping cutoff, you also talk about what is the bridge that you're using to bridge this time period and the sale. So, maybe digital deliveries, maybe gift cards, maybe you have a special discount on the gift card. So, $100 gift card is for $90. So, you pay $90, but you get a $100 gift card or something. Number three would be buyer's bonus. So, as I talked about getting $10 back on a $50 gift card, something along those lines. What is the bonus for you, or what is the incentive for you to buy at this point? Number four is going to be the pickup, local pickup, or pick up on the window, or pick up the curbside, buy online, pick up on the in the store at your own convenience. Number five would be the future bit, so where you'd buy right now, pay right now, and then whatever service or product that you're getting, you'll get it sometime in the future. So the anticipation that we talked about. Number six is gift something for yourself, get something for yourself, or reframe the offer in which we think that we propagate that they're buying smart and they're buying something where they're being smart with their shopping, and they're also getting some sort of reward for themselves. And number seven is the final push. One important thing in all of this is not a one-time communication. This happens over a period of time where we are reinforcing, re-educating, and recommunicating whatever we are doing in this particular time period.
I love that. And Mushka, to your point, the key thing is you can't just think you're going to do one thing. You do need to plan what this is, where that gap might happen, how you fill the gap, and the strategies you can use around how to communicate the
Yeah.
opportunities that still exist as you bring those things together. So kind of just a couple things to keep in mind, buyer bonus math kind of thing to think about is don't give away so much that you lose margins, right? We want to keep that in mind. This isn't a best price or lowest price type of a thing. If you think this is often a convenience and availability, anticipation, and those other types of items, right? This one's just recommending, you can see that there might be a sweet spot between 10 to 15%. Again, it was 10% on the gift card, buy one, get five, buy 50 for someone, get five for your, five for yourself. That was that 10% place. Test and adjust this if this is the case. If this is a first year, you can do something safe. Or if you're just trying to make sure your year finishes out strong, be a little bit more aggressive on that. Yeah. Be crystal clear on the timelines. This is whether it's what you're looking to do or how on deliveries, either cutoffs, delivery on digitals, or future pacing. And this also works, and it's the same thing you got to look at with the store. If there's times, ideally, the more clear you are in communication, the more confident somebody's going to be in order to do so. So the goal is if you're going to use this to bridge your offers, just help be more exact on what that is, and don't put confusion in front of them, ambiguity. It creates anxiety. If I don't know and I have to look at a few things, it's going to kill the conversion. It's going to kill the sale. So, right. And you don't need to do all three at once. Take one right now. Choose one that you think would work best for you and the business. And then if you can kind of roll out and look at a couple of these strategically in order to make sure that you feel like you can do at least one. If you can do two, hey, if you've got a team and you have somebody else to help you, you might be able to do all three of those things. But just again, do something and not continue to hang around. So the key thing here is the permission to start. You don't have to get this perfect. This isn't are we getting this right type of an item. This is, hey, you need to go think about, ask the set of questions and decide how you're going to. So the first version is probably not going to be your best, but don't worry. Putting something out there in place will beat you just sitting there watching others get your client's business. Again, start with whatever part of the bridge you think works best for where you're at. If you can, look at ways of adding the buyer bonus. So the psychology that rewards them for spending money with you on somebody else. And then if you can, look at ways of fine tuning that. Action's going to beat perfection every single time. And that's a simple thing. So just go ahead and look at what you can do in order to move forward with that. Again, what we talked about was the instant bridge, digital delivery options that eliminated part of the shipping or the reason that something would stop selling. We talked about gift cards, courses, potential printed items, instant access. We talked about the local bridge. Is there something to do locally or a way to give them access to something that's different than what your competitors might have? By bypassing the mail, if mailing something is part of the issue, readying hours, bundling up, clear window pickups. We talked about bridging the gap between where people are today and that future pacing. I go back to talking about like the cruises or our trips. We plan for the future. Are there ways of taking your current products and talking about them in planning for the future, or providing them with options that allow them to buy now and get those in the future as well? So buy now, enjoy later. Tap into part of the New Year energy that's going to be coming up as well. January delivery, fresh start, etc. And one of the last ones again is to help add to your order, your average order value. Is there's things that you can use. We've talked about bundling in this framework. If you already have one item or two items, what's a new way of packaging those so they feel new and refreshing? You can look at bundling physical with digital. You can also look at adding the specials to buy for your clients. Again, I kind of talked to this back up earlier on part of the instant, but what can you do to wrap around the mind of your buyer to make them more excited to buy because they get something for themselves as a bonus? Will be one of those other key items. All right, with that, here, let's go ahead and kind of, Mushka, let's kind of wrap this up with where we're at and what's next for them.
Oh, okay. So Black Friday, Cyber Monday, 12 days of Christmas, the gap time where you're going to make more money than all your competitors. Then there is New Year's post Christmas. We can talk about, what Santa got you and what you actually wanted. And maybe that would be our next series. So, stay tuned. And then New Year's. What are we doing for New Year's? How are we nurturing all those leads that we got in our Black Friday, Cyber Monday time? And what are we doing with respect to that? I have one last thought with respect to all of this. This goes back to our philosophy at ThriveWorks 360. Perfection is the enemy of initiation. So you do not need to perfect anything that you're doing right now. Think about iterations. We're going to do this one step, this chunk this year, and we're going to come back next year, perfect it, and then move to the next chunk. So don't think about being perfect. Think about just taking a step, taking an action, and just being out there, putting yourself out there and getting things done.
Thank you very much. I love that. And again, the other things that I want you to think about, and we'll come back and look at doing a couple other videos. By the way, Christmas is not the end. Just so you know, if you think about the gap here, even between now and the end of the year, is people, once the holiday's over, you think about all the returns and rebuys, gifting exchange, right? There's also the post-holiday budget, because you might unlock a few things because you now spend on others you can spend on yourself. So just know that there's going to be a few of those other things that we can take a look at. I'm going to encourage you to take a look at those as well as we kind of do so. So here is at the end, closing truth, the shipping deadlines and or the delivery deadlines on whatever, or the ability for you to provide service deadlines do not end simply as a buying piece. Okay, they don't end. So you're going to switch the format, because if you think they end, then that's the lazy way. So we want to switch that. We want to adopt your offers to ways that customers can think about getting access to them differently. You're going to want to keep that revenue in your business instead of your competitors. So, you're trying to bridge that gap. So instead of allowing that cliff to happen and somebody else to get it, you want to do it. And we want to end up this year as strong as possible. Again, one of those last key things from implementation, think about auditing your current offers. Choose which part of the bridge you think you could take action on. Design what you might consider could be your buyer's bonus. We talked about coming out with a series of communications. Ideally, if you can, bridge those over 7 days or give yourself at least a week, and if not more communications opportunities. And then if you can, there's not a lot of time for test and rendering, but understand that you would like to capture what you're doing this year in order to make sure you find and you end up where you want to go. So here's some key metrics just to kind of look at the end. A typical drop off is about 60%. Optimal bonus range, if you're going to look at something on that bonus for an individual, is between 10 and 15%. Our recommendation is 7 days worth of varied content, and we've given you 3 different revenue bridges that if you continue to stack those, will bring in more money for you to end the year strong. Again, the December window, 15th to the 24th window, it's yours. Own this while your competitors accept the sales cliff and is inevitable. You now have a framework to help bridge this. And Mushka, I can't help iterate this enough. I talk with companies, illustrate this enough. I can't help tell you that when I talk with companies and people, often what is their ability this year is based on what they did last year.
Yeah.
Do not fall into this trap that you do not need to, or what happened last year, or we lost these sales, or it's every single year. That's an excuse, or in fact, what I should say is that's defining a window of opportunity that you need to dive into and understand why there's that opportunity versus it's just what it is. I just wanted to make sure I'm pretty passionate about that, about believing you can do more than you think you can do. And if there is something like, well, this is what it is, like people talk about the economy, oh, it's got to be the economy. That's the weakest excuse I've ever heard. Because at the end of the day, even if you know it is the economy, then what questions are you asked to combat that in order to do business differently, in order to compensate, okay, and get what you want to have? So what happens if you don't do this? Your revenue is going to fall. Your competitors are going to be beating you to your customers. You're going to finish the year hoping and wanting and wishing you could have done more. And then January is going to start off without some momentum because you've not built that into it. What happens if you do? You're going to have more consistent revenue. You're going to carry that momentum into the year. You're going to have your customers know and be trained. This is a unique one to look forward to this, because now once you start to set this trend, they will be looking forward to this next year as well. So you putting these things in place will also begin a new way that you will be able to continue doing so. And this gets into your reputable playbook for literally every future holiday or every future season that you might have that changes. And so this is like, we got this picture of the chessboard, just there's strategy that you can have this. There's clarity you can have behind this that helps you be more successful and finish the year strong. So that's where we're at as we kind of conclude, Mushka, and let's just have you share your last thoughts on anything else that has come to mind, or any last nuggets you'd like to share with anybody who's with us.
I'd just like to say that keep learning, keep showing up, keep putting yourself out there, and happy holidays.
There you go. Happy holidays.
Holidays.
I don't have much else to say either besides thanks for being with us. If you've liked this content, any of this has helped connect with you, sometimes it's advanced and there was a lot we covered. My recommendations though, like, subscribe and follow us, share this with others, post a question, share a comment. Hey, what would your thoughts be, or what else would you like to learn about potentially filling this gap? If you have an idea that you've done with your business, love to hear that. Come join our free community where we have a lot more information that will help you in your small to medium-sized business. And one last thing I'll just throw out there, Mushka, is this is just a small nugget of a lot of the things that we do with companies. But our ideal thing is we understand that businesses have a unique structure. So everybody's unique. We like to call that your business DNA. And one of the things that we do is we help businesses decode their DNA, meaning what is it that they do amazingly well? Who are their best buyers? And if we know what they do and who their best buyers are, and it's your products and your services and the solutions you provide, we then help do these types of things, and we start to communicate those in ways that connect more of your best buyers with what you do well. You end up with more clients, more customers, better and higher sales out of that same group. And so we help people do what we call decoding their DNA, helping them put the systems into place that allow them to make those communications more effective with the same team, with the same type of processes and the same systems. This is not a reinvention. It's a decoding that once you understand how to do that and you communicate it, naturally leads to more successful businesses. It's a way of building some sustainable growth in your company. Interested? Right. Let us know and reach out. We'd love to talk with you.
All right then.
All right then. Take care.
Take care.
Appreciate
Bye.
everybody. Bye.
Bye.